Look at it this way, at least Mashima is not trying to fool you with Brandish being killed off only to be alive in this chapter. I don't think he's gonna do that anymore. Maybe. Things are finally picking up in this war arc, as chapter 502 does indicate there's something explosive. If we go by the theory of N making his grand appearance, then that may happen in the next chapter, or maybe in later on. I thought this chapter was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed this chapter for this bittersweet reunion. I like Mavis reminding us that she can be really smart, outsmart the enemies, and in this case, she actually got her great escape. We do have that last page that really indicates something major is about to happen. And I know that should have been safe of chapter 500 rather than a lot of twists and turns that did not favor the audience. I really wanted to know what is going to happen, really indicates something else that's not really just minor thing, or not really a troll. I hope it's not the case. I feel like we should be really anticipate what's going to happen with Natsu. I was happy to know they actually kept the idea that Inville is the keeper of Mavis' imprisonment. Once Inville was out, Mavis should find a way to get out of there, and she actually used her intellect, which is really good to see that we are reminded that she is a really smart girl that can really outsmart the enemies. She has been an illusion for quite a period of time, to the point that she even have a backup by using a mirage of Zera just coming in and wanting to talk to Mavis. A long distraction, not really knowing that this whole thing is all set up and it's all just one big fake by Mavis, which is actually pretty nifty that she actually went through so much in order to create a scene rather than just have her being held hostage. Zera finally take a notice. Even Irene got fall for that kind of trap, and now she's already pissed off, which indicates that we're going to see her in battle once again, and we're going to get the inevitable Urza and Irene. Part of me don't want to see that because of the predictable route, unless there is a good twist. Let's not be too optimistic at the moment. I really like the utilization of Mavis' intellect to outsmart Irene. Mavis also meet with Mess, which we haven't seen in a while, and now we know where he's at, conveniently I guess, right there with Mavis, and actually made a great escape. Another nice moments from this chapter is the bittersweet reunions with Gaju finally making his appearance after the fake out death that we all first believe, even though I never did. Gaju meets up with Lily and the other guys, then he ends up meeting Levi, and it's actually a really nice moment between them, because this is not only a pairing, but it's something that I could understand since I know these characters so long. I know how much they develop together. They do have a good chemistry with each other. I could really comprehend how much they really miss each other, and even Levi recounting that promise before he was supposedly killed off. So it's really sweet, and I really like that whole reunion scene. And it's not, you don't need to be a pairing fan, you could just understand these two characters well. Not only we got that as a reunion, but we also got Mavis and Zera finally having one-on-one talk. It's a type of fan service, and then I'm not talking about the design of where they end up looking when they are talking to each other. In anime and manga, it's always hard to decipher what kind of design they go with when it comes to talking to each other spiritually or even magical. Is the character are going to be naked, or the character is going to have their last clothes because why not? It's always something that's really undetermined, and it's always something that everybody could always design differently. But that's not the fan service I try to reflect on. The fan service I try to reflect on is the fact that it goes back to Fairy Tail Zero. If you read Fairy Tail Zero, you will know these two has bonded so well together. Then it's actually sweet to see how much they really miss each other. They have to go back to the way it was, as Zera is not really alive. Mavis has finally got to see her one last time. It's really good to see a reunion, regardless if it is bittersweet or whatnot. It does a favor to the fans for the series itself. I feel like everything just gelled well in this entire scenario. Also, I really like the artwork in this chapter. This chapter really has a great landscape design. It really goes to show you how much they have been fighting in this war zone. There's so many concretes, there's so many statues breaking apart, there's so many rooms that you can already tell that so many things has already gone down. Really nice to get that scenery, despite the fact that fighting combat is not really all that warlike feeling. It still has that landscape design and the expression of these characters, especially with Demiria waiting to torment them. It just has a lot of details, and I really like this chapter for his artwork. I really think Mashima is really putting in a lot more work than ever. It's not to say he was lazy before. Of course, he has to do a lot of design for the fan service, but that's not the point. Point is, he's really putting a lot of more details into these characters and the landscape. The end of the chapter really gives me a very bad feeling. At the same time, it got me really anticipated for the next chapter or whatever's going to happen to Natsu, because they hinted that whole thing about the tumor was not really a tumor, or more so, it's not really something that actually can be negated easily. Much worse, it can be something very lethal to these characters. Nobody knows about that except for Zero and now Gray. We have 3 characters in that room. None of them are aware of it, and Zero did not share the story about Natsu. Demiria is in for a rude awakening, and that's going to be a one hell of an awakening. If the theory does happen about End coming into full force, then this is going to be in disasters. The one thing I have to comment about that cliffhanger that I really like is the fact that they didn't really make that whole Brandish saving Natsu from a tumor very convenient, but instead it made it into a connection Natsu background, which is good. That actually redeemed that part of the aspect of that chapter back then. It's one of those cases of like later chapters can redeem the past moments that seems too convenient, or it seems too coincidence, or it seems too easy. In this case, it actually makes something more drastic with the idea of End might show up. I can't say it's guaranteed. This whole entire chapter was really good. I really like the whole reunion scenes. I really like how Mavis is still as smart as ever, and I really like that way how they left us thinking what's going to happen to Natsu. Seems like Demiria is going to be the first one to take it out. I guess it is fitting because she has that god mode power. Natsu does shows up with N or something different, whatever it is. She pretty much a jobber in this case, but we'll see how that's gonna all play out. Chapter 502 gets an 8. Perhaps an appearance can bring the excitement back to a lot of people, because I know a lot of people are still underwhelmed by the whole case that happened back in chapter 500, which is a milestone, but unfortunately it has that effect to a lot of people, and I can understand that. I can really understand why you must be feeling down from that moment. However, I do wanted to see everything come to an end, even if it doesn't change your mind about everything that happens in this series, let alone this arc itself. I'm going to give it a benefit of the doubt and to see how everything's gonna all come to about. My thoughts are told. Don't let yours on hold. Leave a comment below. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.